Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. We are diving straight into a massive, and I mean literally massive, shift happening on the web right now. It is 2026, and autonomous AI browsers have officially arrived. If you've been watching the tech space lately, you already know the foundational rewrite is happening as we speak. We're moving away from the era of manual clicking and scrolling and stepping directly into an age where our software, well, it actually does the heavy lifting for us.
To really grasp the scale of this, picture this real-world scenario from just a couple of months ago. A developer built, tested, and shipped a full feature using just a Slack message. Seriously, no way did they even open their laptop. They just sent the instructions, and an AI system handled the whole shebang autonomously. It wrote the code, tested the flows in a browser, fixed the bugs, and even recorded a walkthrough video. That moment perfectly captures exactly where we are in 2026. This isn't just theoretical sandbox stuff anymore, it's out in the wild, executing complex workflows right now.
And this brilliantly illustrates our core takeaway from the source material. The browser has fundamentally evolved from a passive window into an active participant. For decades, a browser was basically just a piece of glass you looked through to see the internet, right? You had to do all the driving. But today, browsers are rapidly becoming agents. They understand your intent, they make the decisions, and they act on your behalf. Looking at how we interact with the web, 2026 marks the critical jump from AI that just assists us to AI that actually executes the work for us. Think back. In the 2000s, we browsed completely manually. Then, in the 2010s, we relied heavily on search engines and dedicated mobile apps. The early 2020s gave us AI assistants we could chat with. But 2026? This is the exact inflection point where AI agents take over the cursor. Section 1. The Great Divide. Assistive versus agentic browsers. Right now, not all AI browsers are created equal, and knowing the difference is absolutely crucial. On one side of the divide, we have assistive browsers. These are tools like Microsoft Edge Copilot, which is fantastic for enterprise integration, and Brave Leo, which really stands out for local privacy. They help you read, synthesize information, and write. They summarize pages beautifully. But they don't take control. On the flip side, we have agentic browsers. Now, these are entirely different beasts. They actually navigate websites, click buttons, fill out forms, and execute complex multi-step workflows totally autonomously. They are the ones doing the driving. So why is this all blowing up right now? Well, several major shifts basically collided to make 2026 the breakout year. First, advanced reasoning from models like GPT 5.2, Claude 4, and Gemini 3 finally gave AI the ability to deeply understand complex web pages. Second, new scalable infrastructure, think browser-based, made running these agents incredibly practical. And third, we saw massive ecosystem rollouts. OpenAI launched ChatGPT Go, and Google put AutoBrowse directly inside Chrome. We've officially moved from experimental tech to core digital infrastructure. The leaders in this agentic space are completely redefining internet research as we know it. Let's look at the big three. First up, there's Perplexity Comet. This one aggressively acts on your behalf. You tell it to find the cheapest flights or compare 10 products, and it opens the tabs and executes the whole thing entirely autonomously. Then there's ChatGPT Atlas. It takes a slightly different, safer approach by explicitly asking for your approval before taking action, which blends really nicely into your existing ChatGPT workspace. Finally, Google Chrome AutoBrowse brings this whole paradigm straight to the mainstream, using a persistent Gemini-powered panel that ties seamlessly into your Gmail, Maps, and Drive. Section 2. Under the Hood, the Autonomous Agent Operational Loop. Okay, to understand how revolutionary this actually is, let's look at how modern agents reason through a continuous 5-step operational loop. And remember, they do this without the fixed manual instructions older tools required. Step 1, they understand your goal. Step 2, they read the web page, either by parsing the underlying code, the DOM, or by actually looking at visual screenshots. Step 3, they decide the logical next action. Step 4, they execute it by clicking or typing. And step 5, and this is a real game changer, they adapt. Unlike old automation tools like Selenium that instantly crash if a website just changes a button's color, these new agents reason through the problem and find a workaround right on the fly. Now, quietly powering this loop is a hidden developer infrastructure stack. These tools are the secret weapons AI teams are using to build robust enterprise systems. You've got Firecrawl handling massive web data extraction and browser execution. Browser use provides an incredibly powerful reasoning layer for the agent, and Stagehand offers hybrid automation for those really complex enterprise workflows. So these aren't the consumer browsers you download on your desktop. These are the foundational building blocks making autonomous agents a reality. And the innovation definitely isn't stopping there. Experimental players like Dia, Google Disco, and Strawberry Browser are actively hinting at the near future. These platforms treat the browser as a true collaborator. Imagine a browser that literally generates a functional custom mini app straight from your open tabs, or an AI system that learns your specific daily workflow simply by watching your screen over time. They aren't fully stable yet, but they are exactly where the entire industry is heading.
Section 3, the reality check. Practical use cases and unsolved problems.
All right, bringing the hype back down to earth for a minute, businesses are rapidly adopting this tech for highly practical everyday applications. The number one use case is still web data extraction and building competitive data sets. But it's also revolutionizing form automation. Think about navigating clunky government portals, complex insurance claims, or tedious HR onboarding processes. For knowledge workers, it's taking a stressful mess of 20 open research tabs and turning it into a single, clean, automated workflow. Developers are using it to generate QA tests that automatically adapt to UI changes. And of course, agentic commerce is taking off. AI handling the shopping, comparing, and booking completely on your behalf.
However, there is a catch. The biggest hurdle remaining is reliability. Even the absolute best tools on the market today still fail around 10 to 40% of the time when executing complex, multi-step tasks. And, in the enterprise software world, a 60% success rate just isn't going to cut it for mission-critical operations. The AI can still get tripped up by weird edge cases, unexpected pop-ups, or highly unconventional website layouts.
There's also the significant issue of cost. Running these advanced reasoning models constantly, analyzing screenshots, navigating the web, is incredibly compute-intensive. The most advanced agentic features right now can run anywhere from $20 all the way up to $200 a month. And that doesn't even include the underlying API usage fees if you're a developer building out these systems. So yeah, it is certainly not a cheap solution yet. Beyond the financial cost and the reliability hiccups, there are some serious security vulnerabilities. We are actively seeing prompt injections, where malicious website content can actually manipulate the AI agent that's navigating it. There's also the obvious risk of handing over incredibly high system permissions to an AI. And importantly, there is active impartial legal scrutiny happening right now. Take the current Amazon versus Comet case, for example, which is examining exactly how these autonomous bots are legally allowed to interact with commercial platforms and scrape their data. Which really brings us to the ultimate question of trust. Even if the technology works flawlessly, and even if it becomes incredibly cheap, are you personally ready to hand an AI the keys to your bank account? Would you let it make binding financial purchases without your final say? For most people, in 2026, the answer is still no. That psychological barrier of trust, that is the final frontier these companies have to cross. So as this technology matures from an experimental novelty into the core digital infrastructure of our daily lives, the whole paradigm is shifting. The winners aren't going to be the browsers with the flashiest demos. They'll be the tools that complete tasks safely and reliably. As we move forward, the real question you need to ask yourself isn't just which browser should I use, but rather, which workflows can I finally stop doing myself? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it helps you navigate the autonomous web.